Good everyone. I hope you guys have an amazing day. So in the last episode, I spoke about the waste management. So in this episode, what I'm going to do, I will talk about the water management side of things. Obviously, if you're a business wanting to achieve net zero, you need to factor water-based emission, right? So emission costs uh, from the water. It's not like a carbon emission. What I meant, say, for instance, if you remember, I mentioned that out of 100% water that's available on planet Earth, only 0.5% is available as a fresh drinking water, and 2.5% water is available in glaciers and ice caps, right? So it's not directly available if you wanted to use it, though you can process it, and rest of them is a seawater, right? So um, so let's say you as a business, right? I was involved in dye manufacturing or cloth manufacturing, right? Textile industry, right? So obviously you will be using fresh water to wash your clothes or add dye to it and whatever stuff you wanted to do, right? So so what you're trying to do, right? You're actually creating a waste, okay, the water waste. So you extracted the water from the source, right? But you're not putting it back because the water after usage, it's pretty much useless, right? You can't put a contaminated or used water from a plant back to the source of fresh drinking water, right? So it needs to be go through a treatment plant uh, if it can pass the standards to be categorized as a clean drinking water. So most of the times the water will be discarded, right? You can't even use for the crops because these are contaminated water. So these things can contribute to climate change because you are actually taking a water and not putting it back, right? Obviously, if you are using the water for something and let's say you wanted to put that water back with certain treatment to the standard, uh, back to the standard uh, where people can use it for other stuff, right? Then you're not pretty much contributing anything to the climate change because you whatever you extracted, you're putting it back. But the stuff that get consumed, right, and a lot of things that get consumed through an evaporation process as well, then which get, you know, like ocean water get evaporated and then rain down to the planet Earth. So a lot of I'm not talking about that perspective. I'm talking from a human perspective. So if you as a business wanted to track the water usage, we have an option in Net Zero Cloud. So it's pretty simple to do so. So the first thing first, right? What do you have to do? You need to activate that option. So you go to Setup here, um, and so you go to Net Zero, um, and under Net Zero, go to Settings, right? And just look for the water manage water counting. Just tick this off on, set this on, and once that's done, so that's initial setup is done. Pretty simple, right? Okay, and then what do? You go to this tic tac toe icon here and look for water. And so you need to create a record for stationary acid water activity. In the last episode, when we discussed about um, the waste, right? I demonstrated how you can create a record in the generate waste, right? Now, in this case, you will be doing stationary acid water activities. Now, this is very simple, though, right? It just you don't have to do much. So you just go here, new, uh, give a name, asset environmental source, the same exactly what you've seen in the last time. Enter the information there, service provider, you know, choose the service provider, the account, environmental risk if there's environmental risk, reporting period, the period which you want to record, activity type, are you consuming it, discharging it, withdrawal it, right? The mention I said. You're consuming it, then you're discharging means you're discharging back uh, to the source after treatment, right? Withdrawal means you're taking the water out. Treatment type, you're discharging. primary, secondary. There are different treatment types, right? Quantity and total cost. So yeah, and that's all you have to do. So I'll show you an existing example just to give an information, because it's always good to see an existing example. So if you're a business owner, you wanted to record this, you might say, hey, show me some example so I can get some excuse me idea about it, right? So let's look at this water 20 Edison, right? So water activity, some Edison manufacturing. Let's see what is it about. So it's manufacturing because obviously a manufacturing plant. So probably they'll be consuming large number of water. So large amount of water. Sorry. Occupied floor area. So this is about the business information, right? Building details and yada yada stuff. Not much here. So that's fine. So if I go back, and then and then the cost center, what cost center it is, stationary asset, water footprint. So the footprint is important here, right? Footprint, using which you can track your water usage. That's the main use of the footprint. So if I go here, right, you can go to, if you wanted to create a new footprint, just go to water, just type water here, just go here, stationary asset, water footprints. That will take you to an option where you can create a new water footprint. Okay, so this is Edison 2020 water footprint. Um, we got the name. So this is simple name. So a stationary asset environmental source. So it's an Edison manufacturing, and you're using the reporting stuff, right? And you can now here's the main stuff, right? The total water activity summary, right? What's the storage? Okay, so I have like 30. Just give it some figure, and withdrawal, total consumption. So it just it get calculated based on that for you, right? And employee count means the number of employees works for you, like 57 people. And then it's all about your building measurements, right? So let's say, for instance, Inspirate solution, right? We like my team sits in Poland, right? So let's say in Poland we have 5 people. So Poland office, 5 people. So I'll put 5 here. Floor area, maybe you can put say 100 square feet, for instance. Um, so you can put that, and then total storage, let's say 300 liters. So you can put 300. Total withdrawal, we can say 10. Consumed, we can say something like that, right? And it will calculate it for you, right? Just to give you an idea. And this all the metrics. So, all right. So once that's done, right? So what you can do, you can. Sorry, let me go back. You just assign it here, right? And yeah, so I will calculate the stuff for you behind the scene. um, excuse me. So that's all about the your water management using the Net Zero Cloud. You can use analytics to track your progress, or you track your consumption, which is another way to know from a business perspective if you're in the right direction or not, right? Because the things to note there, right? The way you wanted to use net zero is such a way that you should make the best out of it. The way you can get the best out of it is to have a tracking option in place where you can track your emission, carbon emission, you can track your waste, you can track your water, and based on that, you can work your way around to reduce the amount of the waste, the water you guys consume or use, right? I'm not saying that you have to cut down to zero, because that's not possible, because obviously business need certain stuff, and obviously business will produce the waste as a result of the manufacturing or whatever the business they're conducting, right? So yeah, excuse me. Uh, so based on that, I would say that's one of the way you can use it, right? So that's pretty much I wanted to talk in this episode. I hope this is fun. I know that my apologies that certain things are a bit tricky, because I have spoken to most of the people right around in Salesforce page, and some of them they have no clue about different emissions means. Because the problem is, right, our universities, our school, they don't pay much attention to climate change stuff. They teach other stuff, right? But the thing is that now we are in a state where things have gone hit the threshold, and it's very important that we, as a civilization, start paying attention to it. Otherwise, you will see, water rising in different parts of the world, even like Dubai getting snow for no reason, right? Places where it's supposed to rain, it never rains. You're getting tsunamis at different places, right? So Earth is, starting to respond back to saying, "Hey, you guys screwed up, right? I gave you a home, and you screwed up the home. So now it's time to pay the price." So that's the way nature works, right? We're gonna mess with it; it's gonna mess us back. So it's time we have an opportunity now. We have an existential crisis, right? At the same time, it comes to the greatest opportunity. The opportunity is to work together to mitigate the cost and have a sustainable future for all of us, right? To have a planet where we use renewable source of energy, where we use energy which is not only uh, efficient but also good for the planet, right? So yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in this episode. Hope you guys have an amazing Tuesday. Adios.